Hi, this is Suren, founder and CEO of Success Gyan. I welcome you all to one more episode of Success Talks with Suren. As you all know, this is episode number 15. In the last 15 episodes, we had Brian Tracy, Jack Canfield, Dr. John D. Martini, Blair Singer, Siddharth Rashekar, Rajiv Talleja, and many speakers. Success Talks is a once-in-a-week feature. In 60 minutes, I bring a world-class speaker or a thought leader, have a conversation with them, understand about the journey, the challenges, and the wisdom of them, where we can give to the audience and inspire people. My team had a goal to inspire 1 crore plus people with Success Talks. As of today morning, we have more than 20 lakh plus people who have watched Success Talks and got inspired. So I want to thank each one of you for following us, listening to us, watching Success Talks, and sharing it across your social media handles. And for episode number 15, who do we have? I had this great opportunity to meet this gentleman in 2012. First, I got his book, a book called Trillion Revolution. In the book, it said that there was an 8-year-old boy who wrote 10 goals, all childlike goals, like want to become an astronaut, travel 100 plus countries, have homes across the world, sleep in the pyramid, go and see the shipwreck Titanic, like goals we always have. But what was fascinating was this 8-year-old boy, when he grew up, actually did most of his goals. That was shocking for me, and I really wanted to meet this gentleman. I called him out to India. We did a 3-city tour. Last year, we did a 4-city tour. He's been a very good friend. He's also been an angel investor, serial entrepreneur, adventurer. You can call him many, many facets. And for me, he's a man who lives by his terms. Today, he's a best-selling author, 2 books, Thriller Revolution, and his latest book, 5-Day Weekend, is an international bestseller, doing really, really well. Nik Halik, welcome to Success Talks with Suren. I'm super excited. Your opening remarks.
Suren, thank you so much, and I love the introduction too. And I'm amongst some giants that you just mentioned before in relation to those who you've actually interviewed. So thank you for the honor, and always wonderful to spend some quality time with you. You're a very dear friend of mine, and I want to add as much value to your community as possible, sir.
Thank you, Nick. Nick, your story is inspiration for somebody who lives life by the terms. And for people, his accent, his parents are from Greek. He was born in Australia. Today, he lives in US. Okay, so it's
yes,
going
a Greek Australian.
for you guys to get the accent right. Yeah.
Yes, a Greek. So made in Greece, raised in Australia, but I've been living in the United States now for like 20 years. So, but as Socrates said, I'm a citizen of the world. I'm a Renaissance man. I traverse the planet. I've now been to 157 countries. I'm loyal to planet Earth, and step by step, I'm making plans to be an extraterrestrial human being. And that's where I'm basically aiming my life in the next 15, 20 years, is to terraform another planet and then vacate and just leave everything behind, and then start a whole new life, being stripped back to basics, back to day one again. So yeah.
Nick, we want to hold that and talk it, because people are going to get shocked by what you are,
yes,
what you done, and what you want to become. You are a citizen of the world. For people watching, I'm going to tell you, this 16 months is going to super inspire you, open up your mind, and tell you that your childlike dreams can actually be accomplished. Okay, Nick, let's start with the first obvious question. Today, people are in very challenging times, very testing times. What would you be advice for these people who are watching right now?
But this whole COVID-19, if you want to call it, it's forcing us to rationalize and really define exactly what type of investments that we're actually invested in. And I'll give you a perfect example. Like, I own and I invest in multi-family apartment buildings, for example.
Yeah.
What if I told you that I haven't received any rent for 3 months?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that tenants will all communicate together and decide, you know what, we're not going to pay rent.
Yeah.
And the federal government encourages the tenants not to pay rent.
Yeah.
You would have thought shelter is a recession-proof type investment, right? No rent for 3 months.
Yeah.
All my businesses that are conference or festival or live events have all been affected, for example. And but also, and I want to give you a perfect example in real time. Last year, I acquired from the federal government of the United States, I purchased some decommissioned nuclear missile facilities underground.
Okay.
These facilities were built in 1960. I want to give you a perfect example right now in real time. I always knew that something like this will happen, whether it was World War III or an EMP, or whether it was a hacking industry where basically the electrical power grid got hacked,
Yeah.
or whether there could be a future virus. I didn't know when that was going to happen, but I knew there will come a day where everything will stop. Everything that we know as the normality, it was going to stop. Last year, I already made plans to start building an underground colony which can withstand and preserve human life for up to 5 years.
Wow.
So this facility that I acquired, it was built in 1960 by the federal government during the Kennedy administration. The federal government spent $17 million building this underground nuclear facility. In $1960, that's $17 million. In today's value, it's about $135 million of infrastructure that I currently own. The walls are 9 foot thick. There's over 1,500 tons of rebar, 3-inch rebar.
Okay.
And it's 300 feet underground.
Okay.
So what I'm doing now is I'm building penthouses and accommodation for individuals, and it's going to have a medical facility underground. And worst comes to worst, you can preserve your life for the preservation of the human life for up to 5 years. And I'm building 8 penthouses. I have already sold 2 penthouses for $4 million each.
Wow.
I'm building 8 penthouses.
So
Because
you are building 8 penthouses, and the life sustaining, they can stay there for 5 years.
For 5 years underground. There's a medical facility underground, basically vertical farming for produce, water. I have an aquifer,
Okay.
700 feet underground, which means I can tap up to 25 million gallons per annum.
Wow.
I am off the grid. I've got my own power because I'm running a hydrogen plant above ground. Hydrogen plant, meaning I can produce as much electricity. I have all the water, vertical farming for a plant-based diet, a medical facility, meaning I can be off the grid for 5 years. So this, I already started the process last year, not knowing about a pandemic in 2020. But it's amazing how a bit of foresight along the way. And, so now I've got 2 of the 8 penthouses sold. Each penthouse can accommodate 6 individuals.
Wow.
So basically 48 individuals plus about 12 individuals that will be part of security, education, farming, and just overall maintenance for the underground facility. And you're 300 feet underground.
Wow.
So a perfect example of a business that's basically been halved, the valuation's been decimated, but another business model that is taken off because of just being a contrarian and just thinking outside of the box and sort of understanding and sort of factoring what could actually happen in the future, for example. And a lot of wealthy individuals are realizing they don't have a disaster plan B for the preservation of their life. And my facility is the preservation of their life.
Yep. Awesome.
Perfect example. We've got two different polarities here. Something that's making a lot of, generating some wonderful revenue, and a physical business that's been absolutely decimated.
Awesome. One of my mentors told me this: change is constant, always be prepared. That's exactly what you did, Nick. Nick, I know that you never went to school till the age of 10. Okay.
That's correct.
One question I really want to ask you: till the age of 10, and you wrote a set of 10 goals, like I told in the introduction, like you want to have homes, travel 100+ countries, homes across the world, go to Titanic, see a pyramid, stuff like that. Can you tell the audience, how did that all start?
Yeah, definitely. So look, at age 8, I had chronic allergies, debilitating asthma. And, I was the boy in a plastic bubble type lifestyle. I wasn't allowed to go to school because of my allergies. So I was self-educated. My parents had the Encyclopedia Britannica, and I had every book of the Tintin series. Tintin, this young roving reporter, this adventurer, who would travel around the world and experience different adventures with all his colorful friends. And that captivated me because it was a mosaic, it was a kaleidoscope of all the crazy things that one can actually do in their life. And I also grew up on the intellectual side of reading the Encyclopedia Britannica. So at age 8, with nothing to lose and everything to gain in my life, I wrote down my top 10 list of goals. And by default, those goals became my screenplay. And here's the thing, Suren, I internalized these goals, so I emotionalized the experience. I socialized the experience by sharing it with everybody in my family, and then they were holding me accountable to those goals. And first and foremost, the young 8-year-old that wrote down those goals still resides in here.
Yeah.
And as an adult, I am the student, and that young 8-year-old, he's never left. He's still here. I am accountable to him because that young 8-year-old is my coach. And I have to answer to him every day. I have to look myself in the mirror, and ultimately, I have to respect myself. And those goals, ever since I was age 8, I've been the actor, the producer, and the director of my own screenplay. And all I'm doing on a daily basis, I'm just acting out my screenplay. And I'm not seeking wealth in the materialistic sense. I'm seeking wealth to fund a lifestyle, an exotic lifestyle, a mosaic, a tapestry of colors and sounds, exotic flavors, and different cuisine around the world. For me, that is what I'm after. It's experiential living.
For guys watching and listening, did you get it? You're the story, screenplay, and director producer of your life. He wrote goals when he was 8 years old, and that defines the way he lives his life. And one of your goals was to become an astronaut, right? A lot of people have. We want to become pilots when we are kids, but we forget it. But you actually went and did that. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, my boyhood dream since age 4. So I've always wanted to become an astronaut. I proclaimed to my parents at a very, very young age that I wanted to become an astronaut, And it was around 2001 that so in 1998, I left the music industry. For those who don't know my story, I played in a rock band, a lead guitarist in a rock band. We did many, many stadiums, and when I think about the music industry, even the music industry now is shut down.
Yeah.
Like all those concerts, shut down.
Yeah.
It's amazing even to think about that. All my friends who are still in the music industry, many of them can no longer perform. And that was their main business, for example. Yeah. It's crazy. But in 1998, I left the industry and then just traveled around the world for a number of years. In 2001, I applied to NASA, but NASA declined me because I had no college degree. I didn't have any letters after my name, for example. I had no accreditation. I mean, I finished high school, I got into university, but I chose not to attend.
Okay.
Instead, I moved to America at a young age. I was 17. So around 2006, I approached the Russian government about joining the Russian space program. And I was able to meet the other qualifications. I also had to pay, it was about $30 million, of which $3 million was for the training, and about $27 million was for the actual flight to the International Space Station. So I spent 2 years living in Russia, living on a Russian military base. Now imagine this. I came from the music industry. I used to have longer hair.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years later, now I'm living on a Russian military base.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like some drastic changes. But look, I am all about this. The commitment to completion. The only truth is the result. I will do whatever it takes. I will not be subservient to anything. I mean, I'm not going to be a slave to, to the indoctrination of academia, for example. I'm going to go the distance. I'm the most stubborn individual. I will always persevere. And after a number of years, I got qualified. I got certified as a Russian cosmonaut. And by default, because my contract is with the Russian government, and the Russian government co-owns the International Space Station, NASA had to sign on and agree by my terms. And it's funny because a couple of years ago, NASA said, no way, you have no college degree. Now NASA said, Mr. Halik, welcome to NASA. My point there is there's always a way. Find the loopholes.
Yeah.
There's always a way in a system, but you've got to be a little bit, look, I probably, you know what drives me is lunacy. I am a lunatic. and I'll describe the word lunatic. Lunatic is, the word was originally derived about 1,000 years ago, because back in the day, they would claim anybody who would stare at the lunar surface of the moon for too long would become lunatic or a little crazy. Okay. Hence the word lunatic comes from the word lunar, from those who spend too much time looking at the moon.
Okay.
As a young boy, I spent the first 10 years of my life medically confined to my bedroom. At night, the lunar surface of the moon was my escapism. That was my reality that allowed me to be creative and be somewhat of a contrarian in the way I think. And, having said that, I am a self-obsessed lunatic, and I'm proud to say it. And anybody listening right now, if you are not told you're a lunatic, if you are not told you're crazy on a daily basis, you're too mainstream in your thinking. And if you're too mainstream in your thinking, you're too contrived, you're too sterile in your thinking.
Thank you, Nik. That was fabulous, guys. Watching here, I want you guys to understand, I never knew lunatic means actually that. And as you said, we are crazy. That's why we went and did things which we actually did. And I love the story.
Crazy people are the ones who accomplish significant things in their life, because they're always pivoting. They're thinking, because the most powerful thing is learning how to think. And I tell individuals, never get paid to work, get paid to think. Because those who get paid to work for those who get paid to think. It's that cognitive thinking, it's that faculty of thinking, as opposed to just being a warehouse of facts. That faculty of thinking allows you to do what? To rationalize, to create solutions, to reverse engineer, to understand what the problems are in the world. Like for me, that underground nuclear facility that I purchased off the American government, I was thinking, okay, most individuals in life do not have a disaster plan B. If there was a meteor about to strike the earth, what's your disaster plan B? My disaster plan B is, yes, I have built a community, a tribe, an ecosystem, the infrastructure underground, 300 feet underground, that can preserve humanity for 6 years, for up to 5-6 years. That's thinking outside of the box.
Yeah, that is really, really thinking out of the box, Nik. For guys, think about it. NASA said no to him, and he went and got it through. He's a cosmonaut now, and NASA had to take him. That's how you see life. And for people who are watching, Nik is a multi-millionaire. He started as a rock star, then became an astronaut, then he traveled 155 plus countries. He lives life by his terms. I want you guys to type this. I am crazy and I'm excited to be crazy. This is what I want you guys to type in the comment box. Nik, I remember in the last, I think the first time you came to India, you showed us a snap where you slept one night in a pyramid.
That's correct.
A night in a pyramid. For us, it was like, wow. Can you share with the audience what was the experience?
So this particular pyramid is the oldest man-made structure on the planet. It's over 5,000 years old. It's the Cheops pyramid. And inside the pyramid, there's a king's chamber and a queen's chamber. And in each chamber, there is a sarcophagus. And I spent a night alone in the king's chamber. I slept in the sarcophagus. Now, I had two conditions. When I was negotiating with the Egyptian government, I said two things. Okay, I want lights out. I want total darkness. And I also want you to padlock the gates so I couldn't get out. So I was escorted there at midnight. And they came and got me out 7 a.m. the following day. The oldest man-made structure on the planet was my private residence for the night. Truly an amazing, surreal experience. And I still just, probably the most mesmerizing thing still, because this particular pyramid was entrenched in so much history. And I love history. I mean, I love history and I love geography and I love travel. But something about this, I mean, and I'll tell you why this particular pyramid was so profound and a sarcophagus, because this very same sarcophagus, Alexander the Great slept in it. Sir Isaac Newton slept in it. Herodotus slept in it. And you know who else slept in it? Napoleon.
Wow.
Slept in the same sarcophagus. And in 1931, Dr. Paul Brunton, a mystic, he was the last foreigner before me to sleep in it. And still to this day, I slept in that pyramid in a sarcophagus in 2007. December 2007. I am still the last foreigner to have ever slept in that sarcophagus.
Wow.
But it's a fascinating piece of history. And, you know, I was reading some accounts about Napoleon's experience. And one of his generals came to Napoleon in the morning after he had slept in the pyramid. And a true account now, you can read about this in historical archives. The general found Napoleon Bonaparte. He was shivering, nervous in the corner of the king's chamber. He was sweating because he had a divine intervention whilst sleeping in the sarcophagus. This was in 1798.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know you also had something which you don't want to share in public, which I understand. I remember we had this conversation.
Yeah.
That was one night which you'll never forget, and something really mystical happened, and it was a life-changing experience for you. But think about it, let us listen to this. 5,000-year-old man-made structure, oldest still there, and spending one night all alone. For us, it's crazy, but as you said, that's the way you live your life.
In total darkness.
Yeah, total darkness.
Lights out. But it's amazing how your eyes actually adjust.
Yeah.
Within an hour, I probably had the vision of a cat during the night. Like I could see things, you know. But it was very, very eerie.
Yeah.
Because I'm crawling through tunnels. And then you get to the king's chamber. And once you're in the king's chamber, your voice reverberates because of the echo and the stone structure and the marble. And it's like you say something and your voice carries, and you can see just the voice carrying. And then there was a draft of air coming, and it's just like coming through your clothes, and it's just reverberating, and it just felt really weird. And then occasionally you'll hear different sounds, and I'll tell you probably the most bizarre thing that happened to me when I was escorted out of the pyramid at 7 o'clock in the morning. Remember, I was in it from midnight to 7 a.m.
Yeah.
At 7:01 a.m., at that particular point, I had no voice. My voice had no output to it. I had become a mute. I had no voice. It's like somebody had pressed mute on the remote control. From somebody who traverses the planet doing keynotes and amplifying my signal and amplifying my voice and communicating a message and sharing the love and the passion of what I do in life. Well, 3 days, my voice was just, there was nothing there. I had zero voice for 3 days. And I spoke to individuals, even like to doctors, they couldn't explain it. I would see a shaman, I go, you know what? You experienced a divine intervention.
Yeah.
You know, and me personally, Suren, I like to look at things from a very scientific perspective.
Yeah.
And still to this day, I still can't explain what happened. But I know for a fact, for 3 days, I had no voice. On the 4th day, my voice came back.
Just like that. I get that. Okay, we're going to talk about one more of your experience. All of us, you guys watching, must have seen the movie Titanic. Okay.
Yes.
Had a goal to go to the shipwrecked Titanic, and I know you accomplished that goal. You actually had lunch there. Can you tell to the audience, how was that experience? You going to the shipwreck Titanic and actually
Yeah.
having lunch there?
So basically, 2005, I had an opportunity with the Kaliningrad of Sciences in Russia. They were doing a submersible dive down to the Titanic, and I was on dive number 5, and this was 2005. So really, there's only been about 20 of us who have ever been down to the Titanic since the sinking in 1912, obviously. And on dive number 5, we did something very, very unique. We actually landed a submersible. Now think of this. We're in a submersible. There's 3 of us. We're in a very, very cramped quarters. No chain, no tether. We open up the ballast tanks, take on seawater, and we sink all the way down to the bottom of the North Atlantic Ocean. Now, 5 miles deep, which is about 7.4 kilometers deep. We landed on the bow of the Titanic, and we had lunch. Probably the most, like, another one of those surreal moments and experiences. But, you see, probably the most immortalized shipwreck in history, the most immortalized shipwreck. And to be able to traverse the ocean and travel around the entire wreck, the bow and the stern and all the debris, and then landing on the bow and having lunch and a shot of vodka.
Yeah.
Incredible, like incredible.
Thank you, Nik. 7.4 kilometers. Guys, did you get it? 7.4 kilometers go down, see the whole Titanic, and actually have lunch there. I want you guys to actually type a wow in the comment box. Nik, that is like fascinating. For most people, it is a dream. I can't even think. Some people can't even dream about it. That was crazy. You actually, what I love about you, Nik, is actually you build business to make money, to fuel your dreams, because you really wanted to go back and do. That's been your life story. That's
a young 8-year-old that
Yeah.
I'm accountable to. And all I do, I'm not a materialistic person, like you never see me like posting photos of me in a car or a jet or this. For me, I will always share my travel exploits, the people that I meet. See, look, it's 2020 right now. The world is overloaded on information,
Yep.
but there is a great scarcity of wisdom.
Yeah.
That's what it is. For me, it's the mosaic, it's that color. I am seeking those new vantage points in the world, a new perspective, a new lens. And for me, I love mountaineering. I love the solitude of the mountains because it allows me to be introspective and change the lens of how I view the world, my businesses, my friends, knowing how to filter out the negative and change the polarity of every circumstance in your life, for example. Once again, learning how to pivot to change the circumstances at all times.
Thank you, Nik. People are watching. I hope this opens your mind to see things differently with a different set of lens so that you can actually pursue your life different. Thank you so much for this, Nik. I always wanted to ask you this, okay? Like either the Titanic or sleeping in the pyramid or a halo jump. Don't you have fear? How do you actually do it? How do you overcome and do it? Don't you have fear?
My biggest fear is not living a true life. See, I plan to expire on an empty tank of gas, on an empty tank of fuel. A lot of individuals die with a full fuel tank. That's what I mean by living. My body, I have got scars, I've got bruises. March of this year, I had an incident. I was sleeping inside of a live active volcano. And I've done this many times in the past, Suren. But this time round, the volcano started to erupt.
Wow.
We were inside when this was all happening. I had an incident that occurred whilst I was inside. I was trapped for 10 hours and I couldn't get out. I had gas inhalation. I had burns on my body from the acid rain, because when you have sulfur dioxide and rain, it produces acid rain. Acid rain is battery acid. So still to this day, I've got scars on my arms from the battery acid. I've got gas inhalation. I was hospitalized for 2 weeks in March of this year in a foreign country. So my point there is, as dangerous as that is, it's a tapestry once again. It's the heartbeat. And I want to say this to you right now, for anybody listening. Life, to me, the real quantification of life is this. It's never about how many breaths that you take. It should be all about the priceless moments that take your breath away. That's what I'm chasing as an individual. I'm doing more of what I love and I'm doing less of what I hate. That is the real quantification of success in one's life.
Thank you, Nik. That was brilliant. It is all about how many breaths which take your life. Brilliant, Nik. That was really, really amazing. Quick question to you. I always wanted to ask you, of all the things you've done, what's your favorite adventure? If you have to pick one of all the things you've done.
Wow. You know what? I think I really kind of describe. I mean, everything that I've done thus far, it's been exhilarating, and you know, it's that heartbeat I'm chasing. If you truly want to feel alive, for example, you know, then do something crazy once again. I mean, I don't really discriminate from, you know, in any of the things that I've done in my life, but you know, I'm producing so much adrenaline that the next goal or the next adventure that I do, it needs to be, I'm scaling it up, for example, every time. But obviously, I am priming myself for my greatest adventure. And obviously, my greatest adventure, and I've yet to accomplish this, but it will be fatherhood. Yeah.
So you're still not done your greatest adventure.
That'll be my greatest adventure, my friend, definitely, you know, will be fatherhood. But obviously, the greatest adventure after that will be to terraform another planet and then be an interplanetary species, for example, in 20 or 30 years' time. And look, I plan to be around at 130, 140, 150 years of age. With the advances in medical science, and because of my genealogy and our DNA, I mean, both sets of grandparents on my mother and my father's side all lived past 100 years of age.
Okay.
So genetically, we refuse to die. And my question to anybody is this: if you don't know when you're supposed to die, how do you know when you are going to die? Most individuals in the Western world, they die on time. Why? Because the government tells them when to die. Based on life expectancy, for example. If they say, guys, you die at 76, women, you die at 79. Humanity dies on time.
Yeah.
You know, but once again, it's just, you know, it's that faculty of thinking.
Yeah.
You know, I challenge the status quo. I challenge every assumption in life. You know, I will debate everything I hear and see.
Yeah.
I will debate every principle. And everything in life is open to interpretation.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I love the way you think, Nik. That's what actually inspired me first time we had this conversation. And you told me this. You will definitely stay 100+ years because your genealogy is like that and you programmed your life like that. You know you're going to be 100+ person. That's what you told me first time.
I've already internalized it. Because
Yeah.
when you internalize something on a cellular level, guess what?
It shows up.
Every part of you, every fiber of your being accepts that reality.
Yep.
And what you've got to do as a citizen of the world, not just of your respective country, of the world, is this: you look after yourself, you hydrate yourself, a plant-based diet, less oxidative stress on your body, understanding stress levels, reducing stress levels, being happy. I mean, laughter is the disinfectant of life.
Yeah.
Laughter is the lubricant of life. Be around individuals that you love being around with. Yeah. You know, filter out and set the parameters as to who you invite into your life. Provide questionnaires. Anybody who's negative, guess what? start to filter out individuals.
Yeah.
The most important thing you can do now is this: inspire other individuals.
Yep.
It's called social equity. Provide wisdom, not for a fee, for example. Provide wisdom and share the love and the passion. Add value, be a manufacturer. A manufacturer means this: adding value to other people's lives or adding value to other people's businesses, for example. What you're doing right now, Suren, is you're manufacturing lives worldwide.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: you're a global entrepreneur. When you log online, you're not online just for India. You log online for the entire planet.
Yep.
Because your message, you're now amplifying your signal on a universal level.
Yep.
And your message transcends borders and boundaries. There's no borders here. You know, when it comes to education and wisdom, it's a globalist world.
Yeah. Thank you, Nick, because I remember first time when you still showed in your keynotes where you show a snap where with a thumb you could cover Earth from the space. That's the snap you show, right?
Looking at the Earth with your thumb.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that snap. Quick question. We're going to change gears, Nick. We are still not talking about your adventures now. We're going to talk about your bestseller right now, the 5-day weekend. You always spoke about this in 2012. Remember 5-day weekend, and you got this book out, and it's doing extremely well. Can you share to the people watching, the audience, what is this 5-day weekend book all about?
Yep. There's the book, 5-day weekend over here. It's already become a Wall Street Journal bestseller. Look, the whole 5-day weekend was all about this because it was really based on my lifestyle. Like, for example, like in a given 12 months, I could be traveling around the world for 8 months. And then I'll spend 4 months working in my businesses, for example. Or, you know, during the week, I could be 5 days passive, 2 days active.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not going to happen overnight, but the 5-day weekend provides a roadmap how one can achieve that within 3 or 4 or 5 years, for example. And a 5-day weekend lifestyle is this: we all love our weekends in the Western world. We're a lot of individuals, they're working Monday to Friday, they get parole for the weekend. Saturday, they're ecstatic, they're absolutely joyous. Sunday, they're depressed because they're thinking about going to work the next day on a Monday. In America, the #1 day for suicide is Monday. The most happiest day in the Western world is what? Friday. Hold on here. The #1 day for suicide is Monday, but the most happiest day in a week is Friday, which tells you what?
Yeah.
See, a lot of individuals, they work in a job of necessity, do whatever it takes just to survive. They no longer thrive. They just merely survive. See, whatever happened to having a career of choice, of passion and drive, for example? That's what I mean. And a 5-day weekend allows you to understand how money is generated, having assets, for example, but also understanding revenue and generating cash flow 24/7, 365 days a year, for example. And it's a roadmap which provides a blueprint how to add 3 more days to your weekend.
Yeah.
Because we all have our weekends. The 5-day weekend is all about that. And it's a paradigm that's now been translated into about 9 different languages, from German to Russian to Hebrew to Portuguese to Spanish to and there's 2 more other languages. But it's been an exciting journey, and I'm just getting ready to release the new updated edition. Okay. Because the book now is actually going to be 30 pages thicker, for example. So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey. But once again, too, I mentioned the book a number of years ago, and it's all about the commitment to completion. Excellence is this: the commitment to completion, because anything that is incomplete in your life is going to continue to negate your energy, for example. You know, how many projects do we just start, for example? It's the commitment to completion. That should be your overall driving factor in everything that you do. Every time, complete a project, see it to completion.
Thank you, Nick. Guys, excellence is commitment to completion. That was gold, Nick. That was pure gold. And I want you guys to type 5-day weekend. Think about it, guys. 5-day weekend. If you can plan your life like that, where you really live like that. So I want you guys to grab your copy, go Google it, find where the book is available, grab a copy. It will really open up your mind. Nick, my quick question, Nick. You always emphasize in your talks also that people should build multiple streams of passive income.
Yes.
Can you elaborate that for the audience?
Definitely, yes. So, I mean, I'll give you a perfect example right now. So I'm telling a lot of my clients worldwide, there's 4 things that are going to withstand the coming economy for the next 10, 20, 30 years. Obviously, I love real estate, for example. Regardless of the fact that tenants have not paid rent, I'm a long-term holder in real estate. I'm also investing in water. Water is a big investment I've been investing in. Investing in energy and investing in farmland for agrarian type farming, for example. So when it comes to capital investments, they're the things that I'm looking at, for example. But when it comes to like passive type strategies or investments or strategies, I'm very big on a subscription model, creating products and services that individuals can subscribe on a monthly basis, for example, in multiple languages around the world.
Okay.
But also knowing where to deploy those funds, for example. So now, it's shelter, water, farmland, and energy, because everyone's going to need energy, for example. And I want to give you an example, like my underground facility, that's run by a hydrogen plant. And my electricity, that's what I'm using right now to basically fund all electricity. So I'm not reliant on the county or the government for my electricity. I can produce as much electricity as I want. Water, we need water. 70% of our bodies is water, for example. Your body needs about 90 ounces of water on a daily basis, for example. So investing in water or investing in senior water rights, for example, because by 2030, the planet's going to be up to 10 billion individuals, and we're going to be down to less than 0.6% fresh water supply.
Okay.
So understand the future. So make your investments now in water, land, fertile land for farming. Because what's going to be happening now over the next 3, 4, 5 years, more people will be leaving the cities and going back to the farming land or that type of agrarian type culture.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a perfect example right now. All these individuals living in apartments in New York City, Manhattan, big skyscrapers. When the trucking industry stopped, the food ran out. They were helpless. Where were they going to get their food from?
Yeah.
And all those online food delivery companies, they're exploding. They have exploded in popularity now because people don't have a garden. They don't have plants. They don't have fruit, for example. And they're reliant on what? Your supermarkets are 3 days away from collapsing. Because if the trucks were to stop running, there goes all the produce. If you don't know how to farm the land, if you don't have access to land that you can farm to grow crops and fruit and plant-based, then how will you survive, for example? That's what I'm telling everybody. Farmland, and what you're going to see a lot more of this, Suren, you're going to see this around the world. The WeWork model is the WeWork, right? The business model. Yeah. Basically, it works on office space. So instead of buying an office or renting an office, you can rent out a cubicle.
Yeah.
And whenever you need an office space, you just pay it by demand, monthly subscription, right?
Yeah.
Mark my words. In the next couple of years, you're going to see vertical farms in office building centers where you can rent a small piece of space to grow vertical farming, to grow your own crops.
Wow.
And what happens is they will send out the produce from the piece of land. They're going to farm it for you. And every month, they're going to send you the produce from the piece of land that you've rented. for those individuals who live in apartments, and then they're going to send you the produce on a monthly basis. And that's going to be a monthly subscription.
Wow.
Think of this. That, mark my words, that's what's going to happen.
Wow.
Powerful business model, right?
Yeah.
You know, as more people are now working from home, you've got all these office buildings. They're going to be at vertical farms. Vertical farms run on artificial lights, and they're using aeroponics to basically provide moisture to the soil and the root system.
Okay.
They're going to be what? Vertical farms for individuals. And you just basically rent space, and they send you the produce from your little allotment that you're paying rent on.
Wow.
That is a powerful business model for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. That is the WeWork of farming, just there.
Wow.
And
Brilliant.
whoever runs with that is going to be a multi-billionaire. Mark my words.
Yeah. We shall see that unfold. Nick, quick question. You're a very sought after keynote speaker across the world. Okay, today I believe the world, really people need to invest in the self-education more than ever, because the
Yes.
world is changing so fast. They need to be a lifelong learner. Can you elaborate on that? Why people should really invest in themselves to grow?
Absolutely. First and foremost, always be a curious individual. When you're a curious individual, you're going to read, or you're going to go to events to be inspired, or you're going to be part of an online podcast or a recording such as this, because you want to be inspired. It's a secret killing of imagination. It's an imagination. So you can then inspire your family, your loved ones, whatever you choose. And you want to be in the orbit of individuals that are transmitting the highest frequency of wisdom. See, don't get me wrong. The internet is full of information, but there's a lack of wisdom. Sometimes you need to find a tribe and a community with your best interests at heart. And you listen to every word, because that community is value factoring your life. It serves a purpose. It has great, immense, deep domain expertise and deep intrinsic value. And when you find it, never lose sight of that. And then inspire and enroll thousands of individuals into that particular vision that you now have enrolled yourself into.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you so much. We have a ritual in Success Talks where we do a rapid fire. Are you ready?
Okay.
Can we do a rapid fire with you?
Okay, let's do rapid fire.
Let's go for it. Okay. Out of the 155 plus countries you've seen, which is your all-time favorite country?
157 countries, but North Korea.
Wow. So you went to North Korea.
Yes. In fact, if you type up Nik Halik, North Korea, I am officially a wanted man. Read about it, North Korea. It's a long story, but Nik Halik, North Korea. I've been there once, and I'm forbidden to go there again.
Okay.
Because I did a good deed. That's all I'm
Okay.
going to say. But type up Nik Halik, North Korea, you'll find out what happened.
Okay, guys, type Nik Halik, North Korea. You'll get to see the story. The man did something good. That is why you can't go back again. I got it. Okay, one person who's your biggest inspiration.
My mother.
Your mother. Your
My mother.
all-time favorite quote.
My best friend. My best quote is get paid to think.
Wow.
Get paid to think.
Wow. Get paid to think. Okay, your first crush.
As in what? A woman?
Yeah, as a woman. Yeah, as a woman. Your first crush.
Wow. Wonder Woman.
You're very safe. You're very safe. Okay, your one-line definition of adventure. One-line definition.
Say again?
Your one-line definition of adventure. How do you define adventure? One line.
Crazy dopamine fix.
Crazy dopamine fix. Lovely. Okay, one book which has really changed your life. One book, if you have to name one book.
Bob Proctor. The book was called You Were Born Rich. In fact, when I was 17 years of age, when I first came to America, I met Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor gave me two books. One was Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. And the other book was Bob Proctor's book called You Were Born Rich.
Okay.
Those two books changed my life because Bob Proctor changed my life. at a very young age when I was 17.
Yeah. So guys, Bob Proctor is a featured speaker in Secret, phenomenal human being. He's still
Absolutely.
alive. He's a great human guy.
Go
Okay.
to Suren's event. Suren's best friends with Bob Proctor.
Yeah. Nik, you are a performing rock star. That's how you started. Will we
Yes.
ever see you on stage again? Performing rock star.
Absolutely.
Oh, you still have that with you? Wow. Okay. Would love to see that
You know
version
what?
with long hair. I don't know how
Absolutely.
that. Yeah,
This guitar is the actual guitar from my last gig, my last performance in 1998.
okay.
This is the guitar.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. It still smells of the smoke and the alcohol. It still has that, because the wood has actually absorbed it, but this is the guitar. This guitar has done over 4,000 performances.
Wow. Wow.
Collectively, this guitar has performed in front of millions of individuals. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Waiting for that. Okay. If one line advice you have to give to the listeners, what would it be? One line.
One line?
Advice to the listeners.
You know what? Here's the thing. I would say probably the most important thing is this. You have to learn how to exhibit behavioral flexibility and make the adjustments and make the pivot as soon as possible. And at all times, the faster you fail, the faster the lessons.
Yeah.
My biggest regret is not failing faster because I was thinking too small.
Yeah.
When you start thinking big, you fail greater and you fail faster. And remember, each mistake in business is just a bruise. It will never be a tattoo.
Yeah.
It's just a bruise, and you come out of it and you strengthen your resolve. Absolutely.
Thank you, Nik. Thank you so much. That was really, really profound. Okay. Describe Nik Halik in just 3 words.
Renaissance lunatic man.
Renaissance lunatic man. Okay. Your one-line definition of success.
Life.
That's it. Yeah.
Living life on your own terms and your conditions. And there's 2 rules in life. Rule number 1 is that there are no rules. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1.
Yeah. Very simple 2 rules, guys. Get it correctly. Okay. Okay. This is my question to you. What is going to be your next big adventure? I'm curious to know. What's your next big adventure?
Okay. I have put a deposit on a jetpack.
Okay.
You know what a jetpack is?
Yep. The one which.
Jetpack?
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to be flying around very, very soon with my jetpack.
So you're going to be Iron Man very soon.
Yes, my jetpack can climb as high as 15,000 feet. So
Wow.
I'll be climbing. I'm getting my jetpack license, and I'll be flying around. So the great thing is, hey, if you like Iron Man, well, I mean, I can fly over the ocean, I can fly over mountains with my jetpack, and I can even land on stage and do a keynote with my jetpack.
That will be fun to see you come on a jetpack to a keynote. That will be crazy and fun. Wow. So that's the next big adventure. Awesome.
That's right.
Okay. 200 years from now, how do you want the world to remember Nik Halik?
I'm still going to be around. I'm still going to be around in 200 years.
Okay, I'll tell 500
I'm
years.
going to do whatever it takes to stay alive. I think, look, ultimately, it's how much value I gave back. How many individuals did I inspire?
Yeah.
How many distinctions did you take on board when I spoke to you and sat you down? Because whether I'm speaking to one person or 5,000 people in a given one time, I just love to inspire and just share my ideas and passion. And if I can just provide you a different way of looking at life, if I could provide you a solution to saving your business, if I could provide you a common thread, how to build your relationships and keep your family closer, or to be an even better parent to your kids, then remember me for that.
Thank you, Nick. Before I ask the last question to Nick, guys, if you're watching, what I want to do is, because I want you to start sharing this after the stock is going to get over. As usual, next Sunday at 5 p.m., I'm going to catch you in the next episode of Success Talks with Suren. Your final question, Nick, before we let you go. What's your big vision in life going forward?
Big mission in life?
Going forward, what's your big vision in life?
Yeah, I would say Mars.
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 So you're Elon Musk's biggest friend.
Yes, and I mean, actually, I met Elon Musk back in 2004, and we did speak about this. This is before SpaceX, this is before Tesla, but to be an interplanetary citizen. And I believe in the next 20, 30 years, I will have that opportunity to be an interplanetary citizen.
So you believe it's going to be Mars, and you will definitely be there in Mars next 20, 30 years before your life.
Absolutely. I think humanity, we're going to have a moon base in the next 5 to 8 years, and we'll have colonized Mars in 30 years' time. Colonized. That is a permanent base on Mars, where the next Martians will be born, not humans.
No. Martians, yeah.
They'll be humans, but born on Mars.
Yeah. Nick, every time I speak to you, inspire me, open up my mind. The way you make us think is different. I love you for what you do, Nick. You're amazing. The way your mind thinks is phenomenal. Thank you for taking your time and being Success Talks with Suren. I really wish you the best of health. I really want you to pursue, and I really want you to put the jetpack and come and do a keynote in India. That will be really fun.
It's crazy, I know, definitely. But look, thank you for your time. Always appreciative, and I love sharing my message. And look, everybody listening, Suren has so much love and passion in what he does. Support his endeavors, because all he wants to do now is amplify his powerful signal. And anybody with a heartbeat, anybody with a pulse, anybody who is willing to transform their lives, to seeking captivation, more color in the mosaic and the tapestry, share the message, share the love, and Suren, thank you for your time, sir. Always appreciate it. Always lovely to connect.
Thank you for watching, guys. It was a pleasure as usual with Nick. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week at 5 p.m. with one more edition of Success Talks with Suren. Nick, thank you so much, brother. Have a fantastic time. Looking forward to see you as a rock star. See you soon in India very soon. Thank you so much, Nick. Bye-bye.